In Genesis 45, and verse 26, Jacob learned that Joseph was still alive. Okay, anyway, the Bible says that and his spirit was revived. Very important. And I want you to pay attention to that because remember, the Bible says that the carnal man cannot receive the things of the spirit. And it's very important. As the year winds down, it's important that you do not wind down your spirit. God is still speaking. When you go to Genesis 48, Genesis 48, you start reading from verse 1, right? We learn that Joseph... Okay. We learned that Joseph was going to take his two sons to go visit Jacob, his father, who was dying. And the Bible lets us understand that, and Israel strengthened himself. Anyway, Israel strengthened himself. And as I started to think about that, I realized that there are certain assignments. Yep. There are certain assignments that you cannot effectively administer until you strengthen yourself spiritually. Now, we understand that when you get to verse 14, right? But quick backstory here. Okay, quick backstory. Jacob was born, and in fact, his name translates into supplanter. Right, but at some point he had a battle with God and he prevailed and he became known as Israel, right? And so I want you to draw the parallel here when I talk about Jacob the man and Israel the spirit. His spirit was revived when Jacob heard the news. Again, Joseph. Okay, so Joseph was coming to visit Jacob and he strengthened his spirit. I want you to understand that because you have that dual personality as well. You're seated with Christ right now in heavenly places, even though you are still here on earth, right? So understand that. So the spirit man of Jacob, which is Israel, was strengthened for an assignment. And in verse 14, the Bible lets us understand that Jacob, crossed his right hand over to the left side and put it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger son of Joseph. And he took his left hand and put it on the head of Manasseh, who was the senior one. There was a specific reason for that. There are certain assignments, again,